My name is Ashley. I am currently attending my mother's funeral with my husband Ryan. When I heard about my mother's passing, I felt incredibly sad. However, something happened that completely overshadowed that sadness. It wasn't something to be happy about. It was so unreasonable that I was left speechless and unable to confront the person responsible. Ryan and I met during our university days. He was a senior in the same mountaineering club as me, and that's where we became close. Ryan was very kind, and just being with him made me feel extremely happy. After Ryan graduated and started working, we were both busy with our respective commitments and couldn't meet often. But we kept in touch. One thing that bothered me was how Ryan's mother would always barge into his room during our video calls, without knocking, and take snacks and drinks he had bought. Ryan seemed like he wanted to say something about it, but probably couldn't because I was there. He just endured it. Seeing this, when Ryan said, "I'm not that close with my parents," I responded, "I kind of guessed that." There was a day when Ryan's father suddenly came into his room and started reading his comics. So we couldn't have our planned call. Both his mother and father would intrude into his private space, disturbing his personal time. It seemed Ryan had considered moving out. But given his exhaustion from just starting his job, he thought it was better to stay at home for now. Watching him deal with this, I suggested that we move in together once I settled into my job. Ryan was concerned about being a burden, but knowing his discomfort with having his private space invaded, I thought it would be fine. Living with Ryan was exactly as I had hoped. He respected my space, and we shared household chores evenly. He seemed to enjoy our life together, and I was relieved to have taken him away from his parents' home. However, our relief was short-lived. Ryan's parents unexpectedly showed up at our place. "Oh, you started living with your girlfriend, huh? Nice place," they said as they walked right into our rented apartment. Ryan was also surprised, exclaiming, "What? Why are you two here?" We couldn't turn them away, and they just barged in as I had expected. As soon as they entered the living room, Ryan's mother headed straight for the kitchen and opened the fridge without asking. Didn't her parents teach her it's not polite to open someone else's fridge? I was taught such manners by my parents. So seeing Ryan's mother do that made me think, wow. But she didn't stop there. "Oh, you bought this, huh? Oh, there's prosciutto. I've always wanted to try some," she said while opening a pack of prosciutto from the fridge and looking for a fork in the kitchen. "Hey, what are you doing?" I couldn't just watch and called out to Ryan's mother. She looked at me annoyingly. "What? Aren't you going to entertain your boyfriend's parents?" "Such a lack of manners," she said. In my mind, I thought, the one lacking manners is you, isn't it? I didn't say it out loud, but anyone would agree that Ryan's mother was the one lacking manners. Ryan, meanwhile, was trying to stop his father, who had entered his room. From Ryan's room, I heard him yell, "Don't just come in and mess up my room." The tone of his voice, which he never used when he was with me, showed how much he disliked his parents' behavior. I often wondered how a person as good as Ryan could have come from such unreasonable parents. It turns out that Ryan was actually raised by his grandparents. Ryan's parents were selfish, with his father preferring drinking parties and nightclubs over family time, and his mother doing whatever she wanted. Consequently, young Ryan was often left at home and was taken care of by his grandparents, who were worried about him. It seems that Ryan was taught common sense by his strict grandparents. He gradually learned how unreasonable his own parents were. I guess they were a bad example for him. When I married Ryan, we faced some challenges. For some reason, during the preparation of our wedding, Ryan's parents demanded to be taken to the food tasting for the wedding. After that, they even went as far as to say, Make sure to prepare the best gifts and food. And I will contact the venue to confirm that everything is of the highest quality. I mentioned these difficult in-laws to our wedding planner. Later, as expected, Ryan's mother contacted the venue demanding details about our wedding plan. She was refused the information as it was confidential, which forced her to back down, but it left me feeling very anxious. I was always troubled by Ryan's parents' behavior. Whenever they did something, Ryan would apologetically say, "Sorry about my parents. We had no intention of moving out of our rented apartment until we built our new house. So our location was known to them." We invited Ryan's parents to the wedding, thinking it was the right thing to do. Ryan's father, who got drunk, had to be escorted outside by the staff. This led to my family having a poor opinion of Ryan's family. Whenever I talked about visiting my in-laws, they would express concern, asking, "Are you sure it's okay?" and "Your in-laws are a bit." Both Ryan and I aimed to quickly save enough for a house and move away without his parents knowing. We worked hard, saved for a house, and were in the process of secretly building it when I received news of my mother's passing. Ryan and I immediately went to my family home. We informed Ryan's parents about my mother's death. Ryan's mother simply replied with a "Oh, I see" on Messenger. Ryan's father gave a similar response. I was deeply disappointed by their reaction. However, during the chaos of the funeral, Ryan's parents arrived late, saying, "Sorry we're late." At that time, while Ryan's mother was talking to my father, Ryan's father approached me. "Hey, Ashley. What's going to happen to your mother's insurance and savings?" "Excuse me?" I was stunned by his words. Initially, I didn't understand what he was asking. I was expecting condolences or something similar, not a question about money. Ryan's father quickly said, "So, your mother has passed away. That means you'll inherit something, right? How much is it? Have you already withdrawn the money from her account? So, you must have the money with you now, right?" I'm asking how much it was. He was pressing with questions, looking desperate. His bag was open, revealing bankbooks and other items. A wife's money is managed by her husband and his parents, right? The same goes for inheritance. So, we have the right to receive the money. Could it be that they came to my mother's funeral just to get money from me? Thinking this, my mind went blank. Can such things really happen? I am feeling utterly downhearted after losing my mother. And to think that at her funeral, I was asked about the money she left behind and was told to hand it over. Hey. What are you talking about? While I was still in shock, Ryan noticed his father demanding to know the amount and grabbed his father's shoulder in anger. Ryan got angry and threw his father out of the funeral venue. Later, I learned that apparently, neither Ryan's father nor mother had brought any condolence money to the funeral. Ryan's mother stayed at the funeral for a while, talking to my father. But perhaps feeling uncomfortable after Ryan's father was thrown out, she left rather quickly. I picked up the bag Ryan's father had dropped when he was thrown out and handed it to Ryan. The funeral then proceeded without further interruption from Ryan's in-laws, and concluded peacefully. After the exhausting funeral was over, Ryan's mother called me. I wondered what it could be about. Knowing her character, she surely wouldn't apologize for the commotion caused by Ryan's father earlier. As I suspected, Ryan's mother didn't apologize. Instead, she said something even more outrageous. "I've got your bank book." After that, I immediately went to buy a house with my husband. We bought a house for $300,000. And with your money. It's the daughter-in-law's money, so we have every right to use it, right? Your mother would be pleased to have her money used by her daughter's in-laws. Wouldn't she? I was stunned. Ryan's mother saying she had the bank book meant she must have taken them at the funeral. I didn't bring my bank book to the funeral. If Ryan's mother had taken my bank book, it would mean she entered our house, but that's impossible. As I was puzzled, Ryan's mother added more. I took the bank book from your bag at the funeral. Isn't it nice to have money to spend? Huh? Bag. I exchanged a look with Ryan. The bag at the funeral venue. And the bank book. I immediately realized whose bank book Ryan's mother had taken and burst into laughter. What? Why are you suddenly laughing? Ryan's mother seemed surprised by my sudden laughter. I asked her. Did you check the name on the bank book properly? Huh? The name. It was in a bag near you, so it must be yours, right? Wait, what? Why is it my husband's bank book? The bag at the funeral venue belonged to your husband. I was amazed that she had come this far without even checking the name on the bank book of the house she claimed to have bought. So, have you already bought the house? Well, just now, my husband handed over the bank book, saying we're going to buy a house with this. I showed them my ID when they asked. The real estate agent must have thought they were buying the house with their own money, as they wouldn't expect someone to try to buy a house with someone else's money. They probably just thought, okay, if you say so. When a person presents their own bank book saying they're buying with it. However, Ryan's parents, thinking they were using my money, must have been shocked to find out they were actually using their own. What should we do? $300,000. If it's my husband's money, that's our retirement fund. Apparently, the money Ryan's father used was their retirement fund. To think they used it to buy a house, they really are beyond help. So, you mean to say, Dad bought the house with his own money? In that case, I have nothing to do with it, so I'll be excusing myself. What? Wait, just a. Before Ryan's mother could say anything more, I hung up the phone. Then, I blocked both Ryan's mother's and father's contact information. I've just lost my mother and don't want to think about anything else. I don't want to be bothered by my unreasonable father-in-law and mother-in-law. My family, my father, and Ryan were all worried about me, but by blocking them, I shouldn't get involved with Ryan's parents anymore. 2 weeks later, as I started to feel a bit better, I unblocked Ryan's mother's contact. Immediately, as if she was waiting for it, Ryan's mother called me. Maybe she had been trying to contact me every day despite being blocked. I became scared of Ryan's mother. However, I decided to answer the call. When I mentioned that Ryan's mother was calling, Ryan also came over to my side, concerned. After taking a deep breath and calming myself, I answered Ryan's mother's call. Then, Ryan's mother, sounding frantic, said, "Oh, finally you answer. Why didn't you answer before? I need you to pay." Pay, you mean? You mean the $300,000 that Dad and you said you bought? Didn't your husband already pay for that with his own money? Yes, he did. He bought the house without giving me a chance to stop him. So now, we don't have any money. That means, you as the daughter-in-law, have to give us money right away. It's been some time, so you must have received the inheritance by now, right? I sighed. Even if I did inherit something from my mother, why would I give it to you and your husband? Inheritance is not joint marital property. And of course, even if it was Ryan's money, there's no law that says he has to give it to you. Ryan's mother seemed outraged by my explanation and let out a frustrated, "Ugh." I mean, did she really believe that I had an inheritance? And that it could be used solely for their benefit? And as much as $300,000? Did she truly think my mother and I had that kind of money? It's just baffling. Anyway, the money. We've lost our retirement fund. From now on, I expect a monthly allowance. About $2,000 a month will do. Huh? What are you talking about? I'm not sending you any money. You think we're going to support people who try to steal my bank book? Use my money and buy a house? Huh? We have told Ryan's parents many times before. Don't come to our house without contacting us. Don't rummage through our house. Don't take our belongings without permission. Return what you have borrowed without permission. All of these were simple, common requests. But not once did Ryan's mother and father listen to us. It seems that Ryan's parents never listened to any of our requests. So why should we help them now that they are in trouble due to their own reckless actions? You and your husband have never listened to Ryan and me when we asked for anything. So, Ryan and I don't plan to listen to your requests either. Having said that, I hung up the phone. However, a few hours later, Ryan's mother called me again. What the heck? I went to the apartment, and someone else answered the door. I tried to enter, and they threatened to call the police on me. She must have gone to the apartment we used to live in. Actually, just before my mother passed away. Ryan and I had used our savings to build a house and had already moved into it. I heard that new tenants were living in our old house. It's only natural for them to threaten to call the police if a stranger tries to barge in. Well, of course. We don't live there anymore. What, really? Then who should we borrow money from? Why don't you work and earn it yourself? You're not incapable of working, are you? But that's... Well, we don't intend to associate with you anymore. I'll be excusing myself now. I'm changing my phone tomorrow, so it's no use contacting me. Wait. Help us. Without listening to any more from Ryan's mother, I hung up and blocked her again. Later, Ryan's parents apparently went to my father to ask for money. It seems they also begged for money from my father at the funeral. It's unbelievable how selfish they can be. I was completely astounded. Of course, my father didn't lend them any money and certainly didn't tell them where we were. Thanks to that, Ryan's parents couldn't find out our location and tried to rely on other relatives. However, their reputation was well known among the relatives, and nobody wanted to help them. As a result, even though they had a house, they constantly worried about utilities, groceries, and other expenses. Ryan's mother finally started working to improve their situation. They used to rely on others whenever they had the chance. But now they are working and earning for themselves. I don't expect to see them again. But I hope they live their lives without causing trouble to others from now on.